The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will be live.
Greetings, my fellow warriors, boy Meckanimal, and today we're going to discuss the importance of having two separate type of goals. And first of all, we're going to define which are those goals that you should have. The first category is obviously the one that we're gunning for, in terms of strength training. We talk about skill training, those are the hard goals actually that can take years sometimes to achieve. And to be clear, we're going to be discussing in general strength training and maybe a little bit of hypertrophy training if you want to include them in your overall goals. But hypertrophy can be categorized in the second category of goals, and which will be consisted of the assistance work that you need to reach those first goal. It's also going to comprise some of the goals that are pretty within reach, which in short-term reach. That's why I was stating that including the hypertrophy goals could be reasonable in the second category of training, because as infinitesimal as it may seem, you could still see your body change physically. If you're gunning for 3 months or 2 months of an overload. However, unlike the hypertrophy training, or like increase on specific assistance movement training, the skill work will require you to have many cycles that you run and take a break from, and that's where most YouTubers or influencers they come short. They don't explain to you that some of these extraordinary goals skill that they're able to perform come with, of course, hard work. But what's amazing about the social media is that with one click you can reach the best of the best, the elite of the elite. And then people fail to realize that we have access to the best of the best, the most gifted athlete, which on top of working hard, definitely should admit that they have some type of talent that most people don't. And obviously, as of myself, I do have certain talent that most people don't, but that doesn't take away the hard work and the consistency that I've been applying. Same goes to some other people. But just so that we don't segregate, I will not go to even say that some of those people are very, very talented and tend to be specialists because they discovered the talent at a very early age, or very early stage, and they just decided that's what I'm going to be good at, and they focus the full potential on those movement or those type of performance. So that's a little bit of a digressing, but it just to give you a general idea of where I'm going to, why you do need two type of category, because most of us will be in the mid-range, right? We will have decent amount of talent, which require us to work smart, as opposed to other people, which some of the movement or strength gains come easier. All of us have the potential to reach a very good performance. It just might take longer and take the hard will to want to get there. And that's when I'm going to put in parentheses that most people who probably watching me right now and aspire to those not insane, but those impressive skill, and that don't have the skill, the raw potential to reach it within the short term, will never be able to reach it. And that's the reality. That's a harsh reality of the nature of the beast. Most people just see stuff and it's good, and then this and that, and go. You capture the next tutorial that you see. Okay, the guy gives you, okay, this is what you do to unlock this movement, the planche or the front lever or the festo, whatever it is, skill that's impressive for you or that you want to reach. It give you the progression to go through, but that's not how life works. Those are tools that get you there. but the whole process of getting there, how you put them together, takes a hard grind to get there for most people, and that's something people fail to explain. They just make it seem like, oh, I'll just train this for 3 months. Obviously, if you're lighter, you have the anthropometry, you have everything built for you to reach those goals faster. It's gonna come in your favor very easy. But even then, some people build like that still. Not only they don't have the work ethic for it, but they just really don't know how to work toward it. So doing some random stuff is just not gonna cut it. Thankfully, we have a decent amount of people out there who put some broken down approach of tackling some of these goals, some of these strength goals, or those skills goals. So that's another parenthesis in why you should have two different categories of goals. So the first one that I stated in the first place is the main one, the hard one, the one that may take us years to achieve. How many years? It depends on each of us, depend on our background, our potential, our talent potential, and how much work and how much you really want it. That's what's going to determine that. So in order of importance, you have the raw potential, the talent, which we're born with. Then you have your background, what you have done before you start training those things, and then last but not least, how bad you want it. And really, how bad you want it is what's really going to determine if you're ever going to be able to reach those goals one day. One day, we don't know. But how you approach that is that you cycling the first category of important goals with the second category of short-term goals. Short-term goals are goals like, how would I put it? Like performance goal, like where you can see a constant progressive overload on the movement and see that you're getting better at it. So let's say, for example, as basic as it goes, handstand push-up, for example. If it's a new movement, especially if it's a new movement that you never train, you will see gains pretty fast. So it is good to cycle some of these important goals. Maybe you focus on 2 months of working on the iron cross, for example. I'm just picking something I'm working on, for example. You work on 2 months straight. You work hard on it. After 2 months, you're gonna start seeing that you're not seeing progress anymore. Then you will cycle in your next set of a few mesocycle. Mesocycle means cluster of exercise regimen, including overload and deload. So you cycle that with a series of other exercise that you can see the result fast. That can help you carry over, in terms of hypertrophy that you build. It help you carry over that potential in case you come back later on the iron cross. So one thing I was afraid of back in the days is I used to spend a long time on those hard goals, up to 6 months straight, because I was afraid if I let go of those skills, all that momentum that I've been building, I will lose it. But I took the leap of faith and finally was able to let go out of frustration. At some point, I realized that even after 3 months, 3 months is the threshold. After 3 months, and you're gonna have to work a little harder to be able to get back to where you left it. I realized that even after 2 months of not training a certain movement, one thing I noticed is that anytime I took a break from an exercise and I reintroduced it back in the new cycle, within 2-3 weeks of the month, I was able to get back to where I left it. So this is something that you guys can make use of and understand that dragging too long on important goals can not only overwork you, drain your nervous system, because as you get better at those movements, those hard skills, the more it's going to be taxing to build volume onto it, and you're gonna need at some point to break away from it and replace it with a not so taxing movement, and something that you can do with a higher repetition range, and still be able to see constant progress, not only mentally motivating you, in keep the whole thing going, but also let you have a break from those hard goals that you've been working on. So that's the critical part that you need to write down. Don't be afraid to let go of those hard goals, right? Those skill work, because whenever you get back to it, as long as you don't take too long away, you'll be able to dial back into it and pick it up. That's where smart programming comes handy. And those are goals that's gonna take you years. I'm just gonna be straight with you, especially if you work on many goals at the same time, because there's so much you can recover from. Unless you're specific on something that you really love and want to be really good at, then you're probably gonna notice that faster progress than if you were to tackle a lot of things at the same time. And of course, as being a general athlete and you're not competing in a specific sport, you want to be good at a little bit of everything. You're gonna have to be smart in how you approach things, and all of us will be different in our ability to recover from workout. Because again, this is where true talent and potential comes into play. Some are recovery machines, some take longer. With age, how much you sleep, so many things that comes into play. So you need to categorize your goals. You can't just have a series or a set of really hard skill that you work consistently over the clock with. You need to have a series of hard goals, skill work, with not so hard goals. And even something like a split, for example, people may think if you work on it for 6 months, you get a split. The more gifted people will get it, but most people probably have to slowly break into it. It may take years, but why would you even be worried about getting the split as fast as possible? It's something that's supposed to help us get healthier, right? Not just so you can show off and be like a Van Damme type of guy, right? And so why not just take time to slowly break into the split and avoid injury? Because one thing about this kind of flexibility movement, the faster you go into it, you hammer, sometimes you reach the goal, but you break something really bad, you damage something, and that's over time the inflammation start on, and by then it's too late. You get the skill, but at the detriment of your connective tissue. So you gotta be mindful of all these little detail when you're working on your goals. It's not that black and white. You have to have a really smart approach and be really patient about how you delve into them. Something like a pancake, which again is a flexibility movement. Like me when I'm working on it, I haven't really been consistent working on it to be able to achieve it. It's just again with being patient and just having like a long dash, work on it, see results, and then just slowly easy into it. Anytime I got back onto it within cycle, I saw results, and then I shifted back to my hard goals, and the hard goals are gunning hard, take a break, rotate again. And in the second category of goals that you rotate with a hard one, you can have like a performance on the archer pull-up, for example. So if you're somebody working on one-arm pull-up, instead of consistently working on the negatives and all these taxing movements that can help you achieve the one-arm pull-up, for example, instead of working on them all the time, and even the archer pull-up can be taxing depending on your level. So if you're at the stage of mastering the archer, for example, your not so taxing movement could be the mixed grip pull-up, for example. So you need to be able to shift from your main goal, depending on the stage that you are in, to not so taxing of assisting work that you can see results. You can see yourself growing better, getting stronger. Even for the mental aspect of things, it's really helpful. and then shifting back again to the really hard one where you go about the holds and the negatives and stuff like that, and on top of that you add a little more assistance of accessory work. It depends on how you train. You can have a bunch of the movement itself that you're working on, the skill movement itself you're working on, and that you implement with some assistance work, or the main movement with some accessory that you're gonna rotate later on with another cycle where you only have assistance work. It depends. It can just be done in so many ways. There's no one way to program thing. You just need to go by a few principles and enjoy, the process itself. So that's that. I think that's a pretty comprehensive way, or at least I believe I gave a pretty comprehensive guide to how to tackle your goals. So let's recap. One thing to know that some of those main goals that we're working on, that you guys aspire to by seeing your favorite YouTuber or influencer, most of you guys will never be able to reach it. Why? Because the work ethic required to get there, and by not having the natural talent for it, is really tremendous. That's why a lot of people think they're doing the wrong thing, but it's not that. You're doing the right thing. You just may need to focus more time and learn to cycle those goals with some goals where you can see the result faster. So not only you take a break from the taxing effects of the hard goals, but also mentally you're able to detach yourself from those so hard work and get to see something substantial where you see the result every time you go. So you hit that short-term goal and then you cycle back again to the hard goals, and that's it. Keep cycling back and forth. And from experience, as long as you don't get more than 3 months away from a scale training, you should be able to get back to where you left off within 2 or 3 weeks if you did properly, if you did the management of volume properly with the recovery thing. The your brain wiring pick up wherever you left it within a few weeks. So don't be afraid to cycle, and that's the only way you're gonna be able to reach those goals, because gunning it too hard, too long for hard goals, for first category goals, it's just gonna tax you, and you're never gonna be able to reach them, because you're gonna be so burned at the end of it that you're gonna be desperate, and you're gonna either hurt yourself or you're just gonna give up because you saw that this is no point. You just come up with another realization. You just come with the belief that this is not made for you, when actually you can reach it. You just have to have a smarter approach to it and be very, very, very patient. So that's that. We talked a lot, and I just felt like it's something I wanted to share. And if you're new to the channel, this is what we do. No bull, no shit. Just real stuff. Reality of it is life is hard, and you have to plow through it. And that's that. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us guys know what you guys want us to talk about in the future. And for today, the topic was why you should have 2 categories of goals. The primary one and the secondary one. The secondary one is the one that you see the results on the short-term period. The first one's the primary category. The category one is the one that is gonna take years for you to achieve. At least for the majority of people, you have a very small percentage of the population where it's just within 6 months or 3 months you get it. I've heard some people work on the planche for like 2 months and they got the planche. And of course those people were small, lighter, but again, you have some really small light people that have been training planche for years and they still haven't reached it. So not everything is black and white. Don't let anybody fool you otherwise. Everything is and will always be the Meckanimal way. You like to shred it? Meckanimal is back, man. No more chunkiness. We back, baby.
The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will be live.